Good morning. Happy Thursday. Hope your week is going well. We have been in Hebrews chapter 4 and drifting into Hebrews chapter 5. We're headed towards a key verse here, 4:14. Some New Testament scholars would suggest it is the pivotal passage in all of the book of Hebrews. Recently, we have been sort of preparing to sort of appreciate this passage and talking a lot out of Hebrews 4 about the idea of a priest. The Jews would understand priests in ways that we do not. In a sense, the whole Old Testament has been preparation for them to understand and appreciate who Jesus is. And so in the Old Testament, first with the tabernacle and then with the temple, you have the fires of the sacrifice. And there's just a cadence to Jewish life and liturgy that on an ongoing basis, you have to go visit a priest and to make atonement for your sin. There's some national times in which the priest would do this, Yom Kippur, right? They would go into the Holy of Holies once a year to offer atonement for the sins of the whole nation, and you got the whole scapegoat piece. There's some big sort of national pieces to this, but there was an ongoing personal piece of this. The whole book of Leviticus is talking about various offenses and what happens if you commit one of these, and the whole nature of this is driving home two big ideas. One, sin is a capital punishment. When we sin, we deserve to die. And two, substitute deaths are allowed. An innocent third party can give their life so that guilty people can go free. Somebody has to die. Hebrews 7:22, without the shedding of blood, there can be no forgiveness. So blood is the currency that just is sort of speaking to the fact that life ends because of sin. It's that bad. So we are trying to understand the importance of priests, because the priests were the ones that were, among other things, that were representing the people to God. They were going to the temple. They were offering the sacrifices for the forgiveness of sins. So I want to just make a brief comment here about temptation, because yesterday we noted that the high priest is somebody who is selected by God, and so the Jews were frustrated that Herod the Great was trying to select their priests. But a high priest is not only somebody selected by God, but it has to be from the people, because you want a priest who understands you. You want someone who can relate to you. And so there's this idea that Jesus is our high priest because he can relate to us. And the whole idea ties in here of the temptations that Christ faced. So we know temptation is a big topic. I'm going to read a C.S. Lewis quote here in just a second to end, but there's a lot that can be said about temptation. James 1 points out that temptations are not from God. And in Hebrews there's other passages that talk about the fact that we are never above temptation. I mentioned in the Friday update a couple weeks ago, I was sort of sobered by reading the journal of an older pastor who was praying that he would not give in to the temptations of the old. And it's just a reminder that their temptations are ongoing. Some temptations, sexual temptations, are more of a big deal when we're young and less of a big deal as we grow older, but there's ongoing temptations, and Jesus faced temptations in the wilderness, obviously, and we can tie temptations, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, boastful pride of life, tie some of this all back to Genesis 3. There's a whole big theme here on temptation. But what I want to do is just, I want to read this brilliant C.S. Lewis quote, because I want you to understand Jesus understands you, and he understands the challenges that you face. So this is Lewis writing, and he says, there's a silly idea current that good people do not know what temptation means. This is an obvious lie. Only those who try to resist temptation know how strong it is. A man who gives in to temptation after 5 minutes simply does not know what it would be like an hour later. That is why bad people, in one sense, know very little about badness. They have lived a sheltered life by always giving in. Christ, because he was the only one who never yielded to temptation, is also the only man who knows to the full what temptation means, the only complete realist. So the point here today is Jesus is our high priest, and he understands the temptations that we do in ways we can't even imagine. He understands what temptation is. And he is in heaven making intercession for us. Have a good day.